quick. Greetings and salutes, everyone. Sorry, my computer is off to the side. Welcome to another beautiful episode of Talking Tactical. And as you guys requested in the vote, I got him right here. The man, the myth, the legend, Woodland Viper Airsoft.
Hey, guys.
So, all right. I'm just going to get this started with a simple question of how long you've been playing and what really got you into Airsoft.
So it's kind of like a really long story, but somewhat funny. I've been playing for like probably 6 years about now, but I actually got started like me and my friends when we were like little. We'd all like do like Nerf and stuff, and they always want me to play Airsoft. I was like, I don't know. Like, honestly, it was just like the fear factor of getting hit. And one time, like one day, just 2 year breakup, and I was like, whatever. I'll like try it, get me out my shell, do something new, and it's just stuck ever since.
That's awesome. Awesome stuff. Hold on.
Yeah.
I was asked to turn up my or your audio, so I'm going to up yours.
Okay.
All right. Okay, guys, let me know. My audio is low. His is okay. Fine. I got to tweak settings. I'll. It's always a fine dance. I hope that's coming through better, guys. Hope that's coming through. All right. That pretty much is kind of in line with kind of how I got into Airsoft. Obviously, I grew up with like Super Soakers and Nerf.
Yeah.
And high school time Springers from Walmart. You know, when AEGs were over the ridge, super expensive, but they still sucked.
Back when the pistols were clear and you could see the internals.
Yeah, I wish I still had my 92F, honestly. But so, guys, one of the big reasons on why I wanted to get Woodland Viper Airsoft on here is, if you guys didn't know, he is over on the East Coast in West Virginia, and he is the co-owner of his own field. So tonight, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and Viper's still hot. God damn it. All right, now we're backing that down. All right, but anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of pick his brain about what it's like running his own field, how he does it, and all that good stuff. If you guys have any questions, put a Q in front of it in the chat. We'll get to it between story time, essentially. So, tell me about the field. Dish on it. Let's go.
It's a lot, but it's been a very long journey because we started out first at we were calling it Dragon Ridge Airsoft, and it was literally just my grandparents' like land. I think they gave us like 6 acres or something. And back then it was like 6 to 12 of us. Like 12 was a great day. That was like, hell yeah, all the boys are here. We're good. But then my parents like moved like 2 years after playing there to where we are now. And I was like begging and begging. I was like, Dad, like you should let me like, set up an area and like we'll make an airsoft field and like try to get people into this. And so finally we did it. And right now is year 2. This June will be year 2 of running the field, building it and all that. Started out like I think 12 forts we had, and now we have like, I want to say well over 200, 300 walls, probably closer to 300. Just all handmade, all like freshly cut trees and stuff. And we were just, the first year it was kind of slow. I mean, I feel like that's to be expected. No one knew about us. We're like middle of nowhere, small town, but just kept spamming. So it like biggest tip, if you want to see your field blow up, if that's something you want to do, is just get on social media, look for any group that is local or around the area, and just spam, like share your stuff, addresses, games, all that. And that's honestly how we blew up once we did that. And then looking at like any sports groups, like football players, soccer players, anyone that's like doing something outdoor and physical, try to get their friends, parents, all that.
Oh yeah,
But
dude. It sounds like that is the trick that pretty much everybody tries to do as best as possible. Get it out on Facebook,
yeah,
get it out on Instagram, Discord, everywhere you can. Tell all your friends,
yeah.
tell their friends.
I found Facebook was definitely the winner. I think like Instagram is very anti airsoft from like
Oh,
what I understand.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
100%. Since I started this, I'm terrible at juggling social media,
yeah,
but Instagram, I've grown a lot of followers. I feel enough followers to kind of get a decent base going. A lot of it's international when it comes to
really.
Instagram for me. Yeah, I got a lot of people from like the Philippines, over in Europe, uh, Taiwan, like all over the place.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Once I started getting those, it was nuts. But they recently, especially with like U.S. Airsoft, he's been having huge issues with like plummeting drops.
Yeah,
So
I think that's the video I watched that I was referring to there. His
and I mean, I've been doing a couple more posts here and there on it, but I've been keeping it like no no replicas really as much as
Mhm.
possible, just kind of pushing my monthly shout outs and doing stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I get some traction, pretty much all the regulars that are there.
Mhm.
Just kind of keep it going. Yeah, keep it going. But yeah, social media, I agree, is 100%. Like Facebook is kind of airsoft unfriendly, but they're
Yeah.
not too terrible when it comes to the groups because that's where my local field advertises through.
Hmm.
But yeah, I do with all the videos of yours that I've seen, I really do like your field setup with your walls and your barricades being very handmade. I like the primitive look of it. I really do. I appreciate that aesthetic. I wish more people did that.
I appreciate it. It's been a lot of work because like a lot of people are like, oh, like they think like we get a lot of help with it. It's like 90%, I'd say. Like I could almost say 97% of everything out there was just me and my dad. Like over the years, just every weekend I drive up from Morgantown where I live, so like an hour and a half drive up here. Every weekend we go like every Saturday morning, Sunday morning, like do some work, get some new walls up, and then just try to work with it. I will say there's a downside to it,
Mm-hmm.
which is just that because the walls aren't like your typical field where it's like, some sort of pallet or solid wood,
Mm-hmm.
you have a lot of issues, I think, where people don't always want to recognize where the tops or sides are. So if you're like poking out of a side or poking out of the top and someone hits you, there's kind of like this gray area where it's like, oh, did it come through it, or like, did I get clipped off that, or
Yeah,
it sometimes creates problems.
to some people it may feel or seem like it's a ricochet essentially. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I
exactly.
and I can see where that can create an issue. I guess. I mean, you could take it to the advantage of if you get a game where it's more experience, primarily more experienced players. You can shoot through the cracks of the walls. If
We've
anybody's got
we've
anything done that.
we've been on the fence about that because the issue is if you say the shots through the cracks count, it
Mm-hmm.
encourages anybody that has full, because we allow full auto, because I hate that fields don't allow full auto.
Mm-hmm.
So long as it just doesn't become an issue where people are getting hurt or something, obviously. But
Yeah.
if you allow crack shots, then everyone's just going to full auto any crack they can, and then that creates safety issues and people getting hurt and
I
upset.
I can understand that. It's like when I did the abandoned school mill sim, they canceled all full auto except for a select few because you're in a building, it's all tight quarters,
Yeah,
and they were like, if you get 150 people and you tell them they could all do full auto if they had an SMG or an LMG, that's all they're gonna do.
yeah, and that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, and I understand. Like, I do appreciate the fact that you allow full. Like, do you even allow full auto with just like rifles, DMRs, and everything too?
We yeah, we just fully allow it. Honestly, I'll say this: we really don't see it that much because most people, I think, like I don't know. I've always been this way. I've always been a single shot. I never use full auto. I think the only time I use full auto is sometimes with like my HBA setup. Every once in a while, I think the electronics get confused and you have to flip it to full auto, and then all of a sudden it works fine. Two
Yeah.
seconds later, it's weird. But we really don't see a lot of people use it. Like maybe like one or two of the HPA guys, if they're just like, oh, I can't hit that guy. Well, flip it into full auto. Oh, he called it great, and then
I
like move back on semi.
I mean that is a good encouragement to just call your hit, dude.
Yeah,
God,
26 BBs a second coming at you. Yeah, you'll call it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, my main rifle right now shoots 30 rounds a second, so I mean, I was hoping
Crazy.
today I had a full auto match, but unfortunately they didn't. But somebody did
Yeah,
a gauntlet run, where I don't know if you do anything like this at your field, but at our
we
home
haven't
field.
been familiar with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But so it was the dude's birthday, so it was he ran down the middle of the field, everybody lined up, and just full auto sprayed him during the entire course of his run. And I dumped one mag in 4 seconds.
Jeez.
So I allowing full auto for everybody. I don't know if I would take advantage of that or not. I would at least 1 or 2 games, or I would probably do that thing of did he call his hit? Toot, prep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he did.
I think for me the big discouraging part, even though like I have that access, is just that like I run .36 BBs, which are expensive. And I'm just like I don't want to use any more of these than I like have to.
3 6s? Oh, damn! You get full auto 3 6s, dude. You're definitely gonna call your hit. I,
So I'm usually avoiding it in general.
I understand. I'm assuming you see like SMG and LMGs come through and obviously take full advantage of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But okay, okay. And I'm assuming you do the run gamut of standard game modes, and if not, you've created your own stuff.
Yeah, yeah, we do kind of our most popular games. I'll just like run you through a few. It's just like simple capture the flag. I mean, that's pretty standard.
Yeah.
We really oddly enough don't do a lot of team deathmatch just because like I don't know, we just don't. We do a lot of chaos if you're familiar with that. That's a super popular one.
I believe,
Uh,
yeah, I've seen a few of your videos where you did the chaos runs.
Yeah, it's kind of like you start out in either duos or triples, or sometimes we do solo, and you come up with a team name. And let's say I hit you, all I have to do is run up and tap you, and you're back. You join my team, and basically the whole game goes until everyone is on one team. So
It,
it
it's
gets crazy.
it's kind of like a zombie game, like at Central
Yeah,
City here, they do zombie like that, and like
yeah.
everybody gets converted and then it's done.
Mhm. Yeah, well, we also do a zombie game too. Only like modifications, like it's hit, go down for 30, get back up, keep going. And then like they're not. We made a rule where zombies just weren't allowed to use cover just because that became too much of an issue. So they just have to stay out in the open all the time, and they do amazing every time.
uh,
Um,
that's funny.
we do search and destroy. I
Ooh, that's
had
a
like
good
an
one.
old engineering buddy. He like made us like this really cool prop bomb, and it has like timers and all sorts of stuff. We
Ooh.
do kind of like a collection game where there's like two boxes and you're racing to collect yours, but also defend your home box basically, and then the first team to collect either all of theirs or the most within the time frame win. We do down pilot, especially
Uh,
since we just got that plane for the field, so that's a big
oh,
one.
dude, if definitely if you got a down plane, you got to do down pilot. It makes no sense if you don't.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we for the longest time we had like the mannequins. One of our guys, he like is a janitor for the mall, and JC Penney shut down. He's like, "Hey, you want a whole bunch of mannequins?" I was like, "I mean, sure, we'll find a purpose." So he gave us, I think, like a dozen mannequins. So we just use them for different props and some of my gears on them and stuff, just to keep it nice.
Yeah,
I think if anything else we do, that's like we do like an attack defend, so it's like pushback game.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's probably the main one I can think of.
yeah. I know that I've played pretty much most of those. The chaos one with 3 different teams, I've not done that one, but I've done like a zombie
Well,
style
usually,
where it's in that
usually,
in that vein.
usually it's like a dozen plus teams because each team is
Oh
three
wow.
people, so you can have like 20 teams, and that's
Oof.
what hence the name chaos. It gets crazy because I'll like if you and I are on the same team and we get split up, but you get taken, you're shooting your own buddy. It's super fast paced, super crazy. It's really fun. It's like one of our favorites, like field favorites.
How do you distinguish between which teams?
Ideally, ideally, if you're me, you ask them before you shoot. You're like, "Hey, are you Team Viper?" And they're like, "No." Then you engage. But most people just round a corner. They're like, "I don't remember if you're on my team. I'm shooting you. I'll tap you back in. It's good." Like that is the 90% of the mindset, which is it's crazy. It's fun. Everyone loves it.
Oh, that's that. Okay, yeah, no, total chaos fits
Yeah, it
100%.
is. It's the definition of chaos. I wish we would do more TTT. I miss TTT. It's just a lot of the older guys hate it just because they don't like the uncertainty and the role play part, I think.
It's
But I miss it.
I've never actually played a TTT game, but it's been suggested a couple of times when there's not that many players at the field, and everybody's like, "I don't want to do it." I'm like, "Why not, dude?
Yeah,
Why? They're like, get
it's
into it."
one of my favorite games. Like, honestly, just some of my favorite early day Airsoft memories. It was always TTT.
Yeah, I mean, and I actually played some new game modes today myself.
Okay.
So since it was a Star Wars themed game day, obviously they set up some new game modes that are in that vein. We literally did a Rogue One recreation. So we
Okay.
had it was in two phases. They had to get the Death Star plans to a point across the field,
Okay.
right? And during that, it was an attack defend situation. So they had unlimited respawns. Defenders could only, once they're dead, they're dead. And then once
Hmm.
they got it to the location, if they can get it there within a time limit, then they would have to do the 11-minute upload.
Oh no.
So then we became attackers and they became defenders. So we had unlimited respawn, but we only had 11 minutes to go stop the upload.
Wow. Yeah. I like that. I feel like we could make something like that work here. Just
Yeah,
like we're different.
it was first round was 15 minutes where they had to get across the field in 15 minutes to start the upload. And then they did
Mhm.
the straight up 11-minute for round 2.
So where I'm guessing whenever so if you're a defender and you get hit in the first part, is there a point you go to and you just wait for that 11-minute time to start? Okay.
Yep. 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 They what it is they're the way our field is set up is it's three different areas. There are three or four different
Okay.
areas, and you spawn in one side, the one spot's in the other, and then there's a spot that's pretty much not being used, so that's where all the
Okay.
dead people go.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah,
And
when we do attack defend, like we're really big about just making sure people aren't sitting out because like we're just trying to get the most action out of the day as possible, keep people moving. So
yeah,
when we do attack defend, the defenders when they're hit, they join the attacker. So basically, the attacking team gets bigger and bigger.
ah, that's an idea. I might have to throw that at the guys when I go next.
Yeah,
That
and
is
it
a good
keeps
idea.
everyone is constantly playing and moving, and eventually the defenders just get totally overwhelmed because the attacking team is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I'm gonna. Yep, I will have to send word.
Yeah, throw it
um,
out there.
yeah, definitely. Um, oh man, what was the other one? Oh, there was so much that went on today. It was like a conquest style one, except for with they had a juggernaut dressed up like Darth Vader,
Yeah.
right? Except for instead of him being dedicated to one side or the other, you could go up to him if he wasn't doing anything already and issue like a singular command, something basic like go suppress over here
Hmm.
or go take out the tower. And he would go do it and be done. And then the other team could get him and have him do something else.
Okay.
But he was a
That's
straight
good.
and he was juggernaut rules, so you couldn't kill him. If you shot him, even if he wasn't doing anything, he is going to shoot you. But yeah, it was. But at the same time, we were trying to do like a attack, defend, capture location, rush mix type thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was different, but I really liked the tension of just like, oh, there goes Darth Vader. Is he actually gonna? He would like look at me with the because he was running the minigun, and
Yeah.
he would look at me and point it at me, and then just keep walking. Like he just intentionally scared the shit out of everybody.
We were actually like literally just before the stream, we were just my dad and I were talking about a game mode we're just like, we really like the movies, like the Jurassic Park movies, and my
Mhm.
brother has one of those inflatable T-Rex costumes, and like obviously, if it gets shot, it's gonna have holes and stuff. So it's like, what if we did a game mode where you physically just can't shoot the Juggernaut, and the Juggernaut will be wearing that, and they'll just be kind of like a middleman keeping the game neutral. If they notice one side's getting too powerful, he'll just run up, and if you're in a base and you're just locked down, because that's a big issue we have in our field, is just people like to bunker down. I mean, I think that's every airsoft field. You see that point, there's like 20 guys just sitting in it for no reason.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, he would just be able to go around and melee hit people and just
Mhm.
keep people moving and like running away from it. I thought it'd be like kind of funny and hilarious in the pictures, maybe for a video, just something silly, but something
I
we're
I agree. I like this idea. And if I was in that costume, I would move my neck so I eat everybody.
that would, yeah, I would love like a player that would get really into it. Like I just released that zombie game, and like the guys that really got into it, like doing the screams and stuff, it was so awesome. People that really get into it make it fun.
I haven't now you probably when you're saying zombie, you're talking the casual run of the mill. Your zombies don't shoot; they got to tag people, right?
So that game, when we do zombie games, we allow them to shoot. The
Okay.
first zombie, he's actually my friend Jesse. He like decided for some reason, he's like, I don't want a gun. I'm just gonna sprint at people in the night. And my favorite part of the whole event was we like get on the field, like survivors entering. We're starting to walk on, and we have this part of the field where I'm sure you've probably seen a few of the videos where there's just like these really dense low pines, and we built
Mm-hmm.
these walls that are kind of embedded in them, so you really can't see them. He comes sprinting, zombie screaming, and just freaking like clotheslines over the wall, like hanging over. We all shoot him in the back, and like it was hilarious. So it just made me think of that. But yeah,
That's
he
fantastic.
just chased people.
Yeah, I because I know other people play play a zombie game in the different way where some of them they can't shoot anymore and they are literally like shambling corpses or they can run and they got to tag people. Um, because when you say people really get into it, I'm thinking about the whole like, and then you see somebody going plap 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 plap.
I mean, yeah, I mean they definitely were like they were getting into it, making noises like screaming, pitch black out, surprised my neighbors like didn't call the police or something, but they were having a blast with it.
That's yes, I like it.
It was
Now,
it was terrifying. I'm not gonna lie.
well, and especially if you're doing it at night,
Yeah,
it's gonna add that
no,
extra element.
yeah.
So now comes the standard run of the mill questions about anybody's field. And I think I've mentioned this before when I did the shout out to you, but
Mhm.
unlike what most people are used to, where you have to pay a field fee, your field is free, correct?
Yeah, so right now we actually I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's very recent, but we just got approved from the IRS to be an official nonprofit. So we have like our official tax number and all that. Um, and basically we went that route because we want to try to apply for federal grants to make money instead of charging our players. Because I mean, it's a small town. My goal from the start was, hey, when I was a kid, I would have loved this. I would have loved a field that was doing this all the time, and there just wasn't. And now there is. And I get told that all the time by people's like grandparents and parents. They're always like thanking what we do for the community and stuff. But yeah, the goal is just keep it free. Like we ask for donations. Especially like WVU actually donated like a whole bunch of guns to us, like AGs, like just AKs and M4s, because I used to have a team and it kind of fell apart. They're like, hey, we have a whole bunch of guns that are just sitting in a closet basically, and we're at college, so like we can't just like hold on to these forever. I think they were going to throw them away, so they're like, will you take them? And they're all like really nice guns. So we took them, we painted them, and like made them like easy to identify for us to make sure someone doesn't steal one or walk away with it on accident. And yeah, so we just try to keep it free. And if you do use stuff, we ask like, hey, maybe donate like $5 to $10 because like we need to repair these, we need to fix them over the years. But I mean, I'll be straight with you. I think most of our players never donate a dime, which is unfortunate, especially when as you said, I think everyone knows when you go to an airsoft field, you're probably paying like $20 or more just to get in,
Yep.
and well, we don't charge anything. Like you just show up, and if you don't have stuff, we'll supply you with stuff. We have face masks, eye protection. We have the eye protection with the fans, so it's actually like nice eye protection. We have full mesh that's available, and then we have the AGs and free BBs. So we're really putting it all out there to try to grow the sport.
You gotta get. If you guys are still like I've read this myself, and I'm still jaw dropped every time I hear it. If you
Yeah.
guys are in the area, go check out his
And,
field.
and to answer something, because everyone's like, oh, like the BBs they're giving, they have to be cheap crap BBs. No, like they're literally name brand for me. Like we ordered nice BBs. They aren't like junk. I mean, they're 2.5s, but I mean, they're like name brands.
Dude, even with 2.5s, if you've never played before, you're gonna be fine.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like it's, but and that's another big reason why I gave your channel the shout out, because I wanted to get more attention on you, because as I try to do is grow the community, as well as pretty much I believe everybody in the airsoft community tries to help grow, share, and do all the great shit, except for like cringe softers. Uh, but that's outstanding, dude. Like I carry extra gear on me every time I go to the field, just in case somebody forgets something, somebody doesn't have anti fog
yeah,
wipes, or they need a sling, or if I got extra buckings in my shit, I got extra springs, tools, so if you need me to take your stuff apart in the field real quick and do a quick repair. I don't know. I know there's a few people out there that do that stuff, but not everybody
yeah.
does it for free. So I think I can say for everybody who is hard up or trying to get into airsoft in any fashion, thank you, dude. That is awesome
Yeah.
of you. Amazing.
That's what we're trying to do. Yeah. And just kind of to toe off what you said there about like guys that bring stuff. One of our players, I'm just gonna like shout him out on this. His name's
Yep.
Ethan, and he is like always saving us, like because we won't have like like everything we have is very like all the same, just to make it easy, and
Mm-hmm.
like so we don't have like Dean's batteries, and every once in a while he has a Dean's battery or he has a mag someone runs. It's like kind of weird. We don't typically have that stuff available, but he's saved us a million times with new players that come and they just have something that's unique to them, which is awesome for their kit and their like play style, but it's something we can't always be ready for. So it's been a big help with that too.
Well, Ethan, you were also appreciated, and thank you. Like,
That's our riot shield guy you see in the video. It's the bigger guy. He's always like the huge riot shield. He does
oh,
great.
okay, yeah, 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 yeah. I know who you're talking about. I've seen him. Yep.
Yeah, he's pretty hard to miss.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're rocking a riot shield, I'm gonna remember
Yeah.
that. But like, that is mind-blowingly amazing. It really is. Now, have you thought of trying to? I don't know. Your field is, if I remember, 10 acres.
Yeah, it's more like 9.5, but I just rounded up 10 because that's an easy number, and
Yeah,
it's close enough.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, semantics. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah.
uh, but do you do like any multi-day events or any like milsim light type stuff there as well, or?
Um, we do like an annual multi event, and it's actually coming up like literally in 2 weeks. We do it every year, and I say that like it's happening for a long time, but as I said, we've only been open for 2 years. But last year it was Operation Serpentine Strike, and this year it'll be Operation Death Adder, and that one will be May 25th to 26th. I'm trying to work out some stuff right now because Jackal Tactical kind of briefly messaged me about a sponsor for the channel, and like I was talking back and forth, and then he was like, I'm trying to get him out to the field, like, hey, can you set up a shop? That'd be super cool. You're in Pennsylvania, so that's just across the border.
Yeah, that's right
But
there.
yeah, that's our event. And with that we do games. It's all over our Facebook page and stuff, but we do games basically the first day, and then we kind of take a dinner break, set up tents, and our like we have a camping designated area off the field, and then we do like bonfire cooking and like tell stories. Everyone talk about their day. You know how it is with airsoft. Everyone wants to talk about that amazing shot they got or whatever.
Yep,
And then
yep,
after that, we do night games, and then sleep, and then do games Sunday. So that'll be
yeah,
coming up May 26th.
yep. You
Yeah, right
Death
here.
Adder, right there at Fort Ashby, West Virginia.
Yep,
Yep.
that's it.
All right. Yeah, go check out his event if you guys are in the
It's
area,
free.
and make sure you donate. Make that field keep growing strong.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds like that's a decent milsim like setup, like Mirror Tactical. That's pretty much how OP Blacklist went. We had game through the day, break. They ran night game, slept next day, do a few more hours, done.
yep. Pretty standard setup for like a 2-day event. Kind of basically copied. I've gone to event for a few years, Operation Bad Blood, EMR Event Park in Pennsylvania. It's pretty nice. If you're around there, definitely go do it. Their
Yeah,
games are crazy. It's like it's $60 for a 2-day event,
that's
and it's
insane.
crazy. Yeah, and they're like sponsored by e-bike, so they always get like gun donations and then giveaways, and it's like 1,250 players and 4 teams of 250, and then one team of staff that's 250, and they're like mercenaries. They just kind of make sure people don't get held up in bases and just bunker down and force you to move.
That's awesome. That's a lot of people.
It is. It is a lot. Like there's points where you like look across the field and you can literally see just the barrage of BBs like going back and forth. It's insane.
That sounds terrifying and amazing. I want to be involved. Looks like I got a couple of questions that came through. Young
Yeah.
one is asking, do you have any special insurance for the field?
So, because we are a nonprofit business, it kind of gives us a way to use a waiver. So, we have a legally drafted waiver, and all players are forced to sign it. And it basically just states, if you get hurt, it's your responsibility. And it's actually the exact same waiver Balahack uses, pretty much with some minor tweaks because our field is slightly different than theirs. We have different rules, we have
Yep.
different things on the field than they do. Like we don't have buildings or cars, so obviously we don't have to put things for that. But also, it's pretty well known. I think when people hear airsoft field, they just assume like lots of formalities, lots of staff.
Yeah.
We don't have a staff. It's literally me, my dad, and my mom. Like does the photography and like kind of helps with signing in rules. So if there's an issue, they come to me or my dad. And the community's pretty good about knowing, if you're out here to, sue someone for an injury, don't come out. Like
Yeah.
that. This is
Yeah.
the wrong field for. Like we're trying to do something good for the community and try to get people into airsoft, and hopefully they'll go on trips, they'll spread it, they'll play, they'll have fun and make good memories. And I think the community is very, very aware of that and very respectful of that because we've had 2 people get teeth shot out and they never once we actually the first time it happened we were terrified. We were like, crap, like, is someone gonna try to sue us for a dental bill or something? I mean, it was their fault. We say in our waiver, wear mesh, like that's something you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they never did. They paid for all their own stuff, just like they're expected to, and they were really good about it. Which honestly, that's a blessing for us. Our community is doing that because they probably could have gone a totally different route, but they respected that we're trying to do something, and they did sign a waiver, and the waiver explicitly says that.
Yep. 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 And as I figured, obviously, it's a general question amongst everybody who is
Yeah,
potentially interested in the field. Obviously, it changes per state laws and how everything
hmm
works with that.
yeah.
But yeah,
West Virginia is very liberal. It
yeah,
does help.
yeah.
Very chill.
I could only imagine. um,
But I will say just a real quick like add on to that. If you are starting a field, please, please, please do your research and like make sure you have waivers. Make sure you're being safe about it because just kind of a side note, I'm like literally going into law school. I want to be a lawyer. People can take advantage of you if you're not doing this stuff the right way. So like be safe about it. Write anything to cover you because unfortunately people will be people and they're going to take advantage of it if they can. So be safe.
I 100% agree with that. 100%. That's just smart.
Yeah.
uh, it, and I, as anybody who's been a part of this channel has heard me harp many, many times. Do your research on everything.
Mhm.
It helps immensely, and going in educated on what you do and don't have to do to cover your ass makes it easier in the long run.
Yeah.
Ooh, Team Shadow is spouting some team needs apparently. Sounds like the team needs to catch up at Woodland's field. Hmm.
Hey,
Team Shadow is calling us out that we need to go to West Virginia.
well, the overnight game is probably the best one for that. It's like it's our highest attendance game, and like obviously, if you are commuting, actually the reason I started this event is when I was down in Huntington for college, which is like 6 hours away, so probably not as far as you guys. I think you guys are a lot further, but 6 hour drive. And I had a crew down there, and we were like playing in abandoned factories and stuff with permission. Please note that we
Yeah,
weren't just like
oh
going in
yes.
abandoned factories. We got permission. And it was super cool. And when I moved back, I was like, oh, like I made all these friends and all these guys I really like. So I was like, how can I get them up here reasonably? So we started this event as kind of an annual event for them to drive down and know that, hey, you guys can stay overnight and we're going to make it worth your while both days. So
I
that's
mean,
the game for travelers.
ever since you and me got into contact, there has been discussion amongst Squirrel Team 6 and Team Shadow on throwing your field in the list of places that we need to go. So,
You're always welcome. Seriously, we're always welcoming anyone, any background, any field. If they want to drive up here, always, always, always.
yeah. So that might be in the cards. It'll probably be a bit, but you know,
I don't expect you 2 weeks from now. You better be here.
uh, I wish I could. If I could make the event this month, I totally would. But Operation Shadowlands has my heart for the next long distance trek.
No, you're good. You're good.
But I mean, if you didn't know, Operation Shadowlands, which now I'm shoehorning in a commercial, uh, Operation Shadowlands is in Chesapeake or Charleston Airsoft in
Okay.
Virginia.
Okay. Okay.
So that's where Team Shadow is located as well. Their main hub, where Shadow Dragon himself is from, is over in the Virginia area, and that is going on September 28th.
Okay.
So
I'll have to keep that in mind.
yeah, it's a 1 day event, 3 factions, 30 people per team. Tickets are $90 each.
Okay.
You can pick those up at teamshadowairsoft.com.
Duly noted.
Yeah. But so far, that's going to pretty much be our first attempt at like getting the TSA team together.
Mm.
Because essentially, Team Shadow Airsoft and Squirrel Team 6 are pretty much the same team. Like almost person for person.
Okay.
So, yeah. But we're definitely going to have to talk more about being able to get out to West Virginia and checking out this field. And meeting you in person. Because that is a big part
Sure.
of where I like doing all the traveling stuff is I like meeting you guys. I like shaking your hand, playing airsoft, hanging out, being fucking weird, you know.
We got plenty of that here. Trust me.
Oh, yeah. Um but yeah, and you said you go up to Pennsylvania for that big game, and I know
Yeah.
what is it? Operation Lion Claw? Is
Okay.
I believe it's them, but that's where the abandoned mall spots at is
Okay.
in Pennsylvania.
Okay. I didn't realize it was that close. I've been like dying to go to that forever, and
Yep.
I've just never done research.
Yep. So essentially, through this and discussing fields and things and events coming up, we're gonna have to eventually throw you in the mix. I'm planning to try to meet up
Yeah.
at something because we all got stuff in the works over the years. Like we do have kind of a slow brewing plan to go to Bellahack as well.
I I would recommend that. I will say, and don't let this discourage anyone, but I've been going to Ballahack like off and on for probably 4 or 5 years. I will say they've done a total revamp of the field. It is beyond incredible. Their staging area is beautiful. Their shop is insane. The field is really growing and they have huge plans. I've even heard talk that they're talking about like kind of making it like a pop-up business and they want to have Ballahacks across the US. The next one is supposed to be in Georgia, I do believe. Don't quote me, but like there was a lot of talk about it the last event I went to from staff. So I would take that seriously, in my opinion. But I will say, unfortunately, as big as they've gotten, um, there was a lot more cheating, which was very disappointing.
I'm you're gonna get that
It
with
hurt.
size. You're gonna get
Yeah,
that with size.
which
I
it hurt. It just like because I'm the type of guy where I go into it, I like run a scope cam. I know there's shots where everyone's like, "Oh, I'm hitting that guy. Why isn't he calling his hits?" And then like as someone with a scope camera, you go back and you're like, "Oh, there was a twig there, or I'm missing them by like literally half an inch, and it looks like I'm hitting them." And that whole day, I was like, "Wow!" Like they said like my HPA was too hot, even though I'd chronoed it before the event, and I was like, "Okay, whatever." So I readjusted it and readjusted everything. I was just like, maybe I'm just off and like I'm just missing, and then the next day I
Mhm.
went and started editing and I was like people were just like full on taking like 20 shots to the back and like they were flinching, not calling it. I was like, come on guys, like such a great field, but the players and maybe I had a bad day. Maybe I just had a bad day. But
It's highly possible that it was a bad day.
yeah,
But
I just
I think for that's where I've run into most encounters with cheating myself is with large, like the bigger milsims I've gone to.
yeah,
That's where I've seen it the most because they're just gonna eat them.
yeah.
um,
But it is a great field, really well run, and they do an amazing job. And it's a good price. They've definitely gone up over the years. It used to be a lot cheaper, but I know they have bigger plans. Like I think their next big plan, like for the field, they're trying to do like this huge Connex prison with like jail cells and stuff, and like
holy shit!
corridors. Yeah, and they're definitely trying to expand the city, make it a lot bigger.
Well, no, it's funny that you said that Bellahag was maybe potentially through rumor milling, um,
Yeah,
maybe expanding into different locations because I don't know how long you've been watching any of my channel, but one of my overarching goals myself is to, if we ever make money, I'm going to take chunks and swaths of the money that comes in through like ad revenue, whatever, from the channel, and I'm going to set it to the side to
mhm.
buy a plot of land and start building a community funded field essentially from
Yeah,
everybody's wonderful support. Um, but I've been homebrewing a multi-day event that if I get it all done in the next year or so, I might pitch it to a field up in Minnesota because it's a large field up there. Um,
yeah,
but one of my ideas with it, because it can branch across the country easily just because of the story of it alone, I wanted to reach out to Chris and Bella Hack and see if they wanted to like link somehow
yeah,
like the story to where it's kind of, a pseudo partnership thing, just kind of working together to make it more fun and just add more to the depth of the story of that event.
yeah.
Um,
That'd be awesome.
right? And sneak peek for everybody watching, um, the inspiration for my game is essentially coming from the movie They Live, the John Carpenter film. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. It is a late 80s action movie starring Rowdy Roddy Piper. And it's about aliens that invade Earth and essentially subliminally take everybody over through subliminal messaging and essentially controlling capitalism and the way the government works and money.
Okay.
It's a very relevant movie even to this day in the background storytelling of it. It is really good. Also, that movie inspired the character Duke Nukem.
Okay.
But the hook is you can't see the aliens or the subliminal messaging unless you're wearing special sunglasses. So I've been working systems here and there to make it work, but I'm obviously altering the storyline so I, don't need copyright infringement.
Yeah.
But essentially, there will be a system in place where it's gonna, where I'm resting right now is it's gonna be, there's gonna be a limited number of armbands on the field that you gotta get through trade, barter, quest, retrieve, something like that. And there will be certain points during the game of the day where the aliens will be on field, and obviously they will be painted up and dressed like aliens. But if you don't have this armband on, you can't see them as aliens.
Okay.
But if
I
you got it
like it.
on, you can see them and light them up.
That's
So,
cool. I like that.
yep, and obviously it'll be like taking inspiration from the stuff at Bella Hack, where it's adding quest lines and little reward systems here and there, but just to add and
Yeah.
branch out where it's either you can be what I'm currently calling the skinless, which are the aliens, or you can be the resistance.
I like it. Yeah.
Yep. Um, it's why I really want to get my own field going. I mean, uh, that's a goal of myself. Is I want a big enough field. I want to set one up as well. Build one that can like even potentially host like a Milsim West game.
hmm It's I'll say even like with what just I have here, it's been a lot of work. So like, be ready for that. I'm sure
Oh yeah.
you definitely have like watching you like you're good, but I will say like kind of like I think what a lot of I don't want to just say content creators, but field people that own fields, I think they don't always talk about is just how much of the experience they are sacrificing. I don't want to like say
Mm-hmm.
don't do it or act like it's this big issue because it isn't, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I definitely when I went to fields and like saw like players like Novridge and stuff in person, and they are totally different than how they used to start playing, where they just were like full of all this energy and stuff. I think I get it a lot more now that I've done this. And it's just like it's no longer just hey, I'm picking up my gear bag and going to a field to have fun. It's I'm picking up my gear bag and I'm running games and I'm checking rules and I'm making
Mm-hmm.
sure everything's set up and I'm staying after to take everything back down and keep maintain the field every weekend and just everything becomes around that point.
Uh,
So
yeah.
it's no longer just go to a field and play. It's like go to a field and work and play a little in there.
Yeah, and that is something I myself have already taken into consideration.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to come with its field of maintaining and upkeep and cleaning up and setup, set down, but essentially where I want to go with it is that will be my full time job.
Yeah.
It start with the field so I can do that every weekend or so. Once it gets traction, gets bigger, set up a store, set up an indoor field
Yeah.
attached to the store. Um, you know,
That's the
and
dream. That's the dream.
right, it's literally like if I won the Powerball tomorrow, dude, that would so quickly be set up.
Yeah. Same.
I mean, I know I've had moments myself of the grind of just working, going and playing my 2 games a month, and then editing all this footage together, filming
Yeah.
more videos, all that stuff, and just it's exhausting.
It is. It's no, I totally get it. I mean, everyone in my family jokes about it because every time we're on like a car trip or we're going somewhere, if I see like a set of woods or like even a big rock or like a fallen tree, I'm like, that would be great on the field. Like, imagine you get that on the field somehow, or like we drive by people and like we'll be like eating at a restaurant. I'll be like, I wonder if they play airsoft and like try to go over and like give them a business card or something. And it's
Yep.
like it's my whole life. Like I've been really lucky with my job. I work at a hospital, and I'm like allowed to have my laptop there, so I kind of do editing when I'm not like doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So that's helpful. Because, like I work 13-hour night shifts, and I'd say like about 5 hours of that I'm actually doing my job, and then the other hours I'm based on call at the hospital. So it's been a blessing that I can just sit there and like edit content and get it out there.
Yeah, yeah, and I wish I could do that at work.
Yeah,
I so wish I could do that at work. I'm jealous that you can do that at work. Ugh.
yeah. It's been the biggest blessing because like before I like worked at Subway. I would literally be go to work, and as soon as I got home, I was like, I gotta edit at least 2 to 4 hours right now, so I'm getting it flowing and moving, and then get some sleep, go to school, rinse and repeat over and over and over, and run the. But now like it's kind of balanced out, I think, a lot more, and then also since with the field I have so much content, I can like I have stuff posted all the way out to June right now, I think, like, so if I ever get
Ooh.
behind I have 2 months of grace period. Yeah, when I open my YouTube content, like you know what it is, the like
Yeah,
creator app, or like yeah, I have like a whole list of stuff that's just waiting.
yeah. I try to do that, and then I don't sleep, and it doesn't work. So I just take like
It's
a day or two where it's after work, or like I normally have Sundays where I don't do anything. So tomorrow I'm gonna just sit down and do a bunch of editing.
yeah, it'll be 6 hours of editing for a 3 to 6 minute video. Yeah.
It's well,
Yeah.
I tell you what, I've kind of got a system down. It's just trying to shave as much down and still make it interesting.
Yeah.
But it's still, I mean, on average for like the part one of Sheboygan, that was a 40-minute long video. That took me
Hmm.
three and a
I
half
watched. I
hours.
watched the whole thing. Watched the whole thing at work. Actually, it was really
Oh,
good.
oh, thank you, appreciate that. But yeah,
Yeah.
that took me like 3.5 hours,
Trying to
which
keep your average view duration up. I
yeah,
know it's hard.
yeah, I mean, and that's why I try to shave and I try to shave my videos down to like 30 minutes or less for the most part. I know with the
Yeah.
milsim stuff, it's kind of harder just because there's more, and I'm like, well, I want to squeeze
Mhm.
that in there. Maybe I can squeeze
Yeah.
that in. Shrink this down, edit, fade this. But
No, it was good. I really liked it. I think it was like the second half. It like picked up a lot faster. Like there was a lot more intense like combat, people moving around and stuff. I thought it was really good.
yeah, I and I can say in part three, which I believe is going to be the end of day one. There's a lot more. Like it's
Okay.
as the day wore on, it got more intense.
So I just want to ask you something,
Yep,
kind
go
of just
ahead.
as a curiosity. When you filmed that,
Hmm.
and I hope I'm not breaking any fourth walls for anyone watching this. Just like, are you using an external battery pack for your cameras, or are you running extra batteries, or how are you doing that? Because I don't want to run external batteries. I just hate it. It's my gun is already so heavy. I'm like, I don't want to run external.
Okay. So we were talking about this right before the stream. I only run the one GoPro, and
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I know the weather is good enough, I run an external battery. So I essentially, when that was on during Sheboygan, unless
Hmm.
we went back and sat down and took a break, that was on the whole time.
Yeah.
So literally, my editing process for that is what's taking the longest is going watch, watch, watch. Oh, this is all uninteresting. Delete that whole clip.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so it's a catch 22. I use a battery pouch on the back of my helmet, and I
Okay.
run the line through my vent holes and clip it straight into my GoPro. Um, and it helps actually balance out the helmet a lot.
Hmm.
Because obviously, I mean, GoPros are light, but it's still front heavy. It's going to bring it down a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
They're heavy.
but yeah, it balances out really well. The only thing is if you easily get neck issues or you've never worn a heavy helmet before, it does add more weight to the helmet, so your neck might hurt at the end of the day a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's if you want to get those long, consistent, just like I want to get everything as possible, get an external
Hmm.
battery. That's the only way I can think about doing it because honestly, there was a lot of moments where I even when I did Big Brother last August, I ran an external battery, uh, and I thought about it going into it, and I was like, I'll just swap batteries out on the fly. Then I got into the game, and I was like, that is the dumbest idea I ever thought of in a milsim. Or like, what if my camera died in the middle of a firefight and I got a
Yeah.
bunch of awesome kills? Like that's where I would
Yeah.
suggest if you have the capability and you want to get as much as possible, run an external battery. The only
Yeah.
thing that sucks is maybe having to buy separate attachments or different cases if you have a case, just to make it all work.
Hmm.
But there are cheap
Yeah.
options. Amazon's a thing.
Yeah. I think the hardest thing for me is that I've always done an anti-helmet setup just because I don't like helmets. They're very bulky, and I like to get low and be able to get tight with like corners, walls, anything I
Mm-hmm.
can get like really, really close to. I think a helmet, in my experience, really prevents me from doing that.
Yeah.
Um, so it's really hard to find any way to mount that stuff comfortably to like a hat or like nothing. Like for a long time, I was just using like a balaclava, so there's literally nowhere to mount it, like a strap.
Yeah, uh, and that's it. This is this was a weird. It's weird. It's leading into a discussion I had with somebody today. It's the difference of prior service military versus people who haven't. I'm used to
Yeah,
wearing a helmet in a tactical situation.
yeah,
So And what I can possibly give you for advice if you eventually want to get a helmet, because it might just be easier to run helmet mounts or external camera batteries or stuff like that without running cables everywhere through plate
Hmm.
carriers and stuff. One, don't get an old K-pot. Get something with arc rails on it, a PJ base jump helmet. It's very slimline. It's a lot. It's not as wide. Gives
Okay.
nice cutouts for your ears, so you can even rock cans if you got them for ear protection and communication. Plus, it comes with an MVG mount either already mounted on it or maybe built into it. Um, so that right there is your camera mount, where you just put in your camera mount and you're good to go. And plus the Velcro
Yeah.
accoutrement all over the rest of it to retain a battery pouch, put either covers on, stuff like that.
Hmm.
And just try it. There are multiple slimline style helmets as well. Um, but also a big trick is what I would normally tell people in the situation where you're having issues because you like hugging walls super tight is the best trick is not to hug the wall. You want to be away from the
Yeah.
wall because that wall pins you down. So you want to be away from the wall, but still using it as cover, but you're just step back a bit and you're just leaning out
Hmm.
and leaning one way
Yeah.
or another. Because I mean, there's multiple times, like, and you've probably, and if you've watched the Sheboygan stuff, where you just see a line of guys kind of just peeking out over each other, and they're all shooting, and they're just
Yeah.
trying to slimly give little bits as much as possible.
Cut that pie, right?
Yep. That's essentially it, dude. All the basic stuff that you hear people use for terminology is the most bare bones basics, and it works.
Hmm.
But if you don't like running helmets, well, you can get a strap and just tie it to your head. um,
Yeah.
there is a you had your 3D print mount in your gear video, and I like that.
Mhm.
I really do like that. Because there's some days where I don't want to wear the helmet.
Yeah. Yeah, I just the brain exploder stuff is really good. I literally like this is so recent just getting all their stuff, but you can't even buy it off brain exploders anymore. You have to buy it from this company called Shapeways, which is like a 3D printing third party site, but basically have the rights from brain exploders, and I think he gets a commission because when
um,
you get it, it all has like the
yeah,
trademarks and stuff on it.
I know their NVG mount camera mount I can buy on Amazon as well. It
Oh,
is listed
really?
on, yes, their brain exploder has a listing on Amazon.
Well, didn't have any of the camera mounts I needed, unfortunately,
Yeah,
because
I
the
it,
hat
it
mount and I wanted the I just got the shoulder third person mount too.
yeah, that which yeah. I would
Yeah,
like to try that, but it just look it's stick.
selfie stick mounted to you.
It's kind of the beginnings of like an alien pseudo smart gunner rig.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll be running my first time next Saturday, so literally a week from now I'll be trying it out. See how that goes.
Grundy dies, aka that is the trippy hippie. What about a headlamp strap? There are headlamp style strap mounts that you can get for GoPros.
Hmm.
I just I don't know how sturdy they are once they get sweaty.
I was I was about to say, well, it's not even sweaty. It's just like that's what I started with. That's what I ran with. But they're really hard just to mount stuff with and be comfortable. Like, yeah, you can mount anything you want, but it like wobbles if you're like really big about running. Like, I'm sure if you just walk, like if you're like a slower player that just enjoys like the walk, get into a spot, hold it down, probably wouldn't be a big issue. But I like sprinting a lot. Like I'm like moving
Yep.
base to base, and it's just the less I can have bouncing or jangling and all that, the better.
I agree. It's is yeah the jangling yeah.
And like
That's why
wires and stuff is like going prone and like going through like low stuff. It'll just pull at those wires.
yeah 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 I hate it's something that they teach you in the army too. Anything
Yeah,
dangly or strap or wire, you cinch it down. You just
yeah,
cinch it all down. It could get caught. It could get torn. It could,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. There's all sorts of things. Which, yeah, I totally understand that. I hate having dangly bits. That's why I don't do HPA.
As I'm putting a stick off my shoulder, I don't like dangling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I don't think I could ever really do a third person camera mount. Um, but man, that hour just flew by.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. With that, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. I don't want to keep Woodland Viper here too much longer. So I want to thank you for being able to
Yeah.
make the time and coming on. Go ahead. I'll roll out the red carpet for you. Give your sales pitch. Let everybody know where the field's at, when you got coming up your next game, and how they can find you on social media.
Yeah, so the biggest thing, like number one thing, is just Azure and Airsoft Field. It's Ash, ASHRAN on Facebook. Just go to groups. It's like a teal and orange thing. It says free written all over it to really nail that across. We host 2 free events every month. All of our events are free, so we usually provide free gear, free. I say rentals because that's the best way to refer to it, but
Yes.
you're not renting it because it's free. And yeah, the next games are May 11th, which will just be like a normal play game, which will be gates will open at 12. We'll start at 1, and we usually run 4 to 6 hours depending on how much people want to play. And then the next game is our big op game, which is Operation Death Adder, which is May 25th into the 26th. So there'll be camping, bonfire cooking, night games, and then gameplay both days. That's pretty much for the field promo. And then just for myself, it's Woodland Viper Airsoft. Honestly, this guy's already done enough for me. Like, I think the second you shouted me out, it was like 50 subs, like right off the bat, which I think was a lot of your guys you said. So thank you to all you guys. It helps a lot. This has been a very, very long time working on this channel, and like seeing this growth has been great. Honestly, the big goal is just to get a YouTube play button. I just think that'd be cool. It's like one of my many achievements in life goal.
I think we all want that play button, buddy.
Yeah, that's, and then of course, just providing that opportunity for people to play, which I think just the way we run the field speaks for itself there. I don't feel like I need to talk about that.
Yeah, and
But
it does 100%, and that's fantastic. You heard him, guys. You got the dates. You got the location. Go check out his Facebook page. Join the group. Join his YouTube channel if you have not already. I'm telling you, do it. Just watch all of his videos. Like all of them. Hit the bell icon for his channel. Do it for mine too. And
yeah.
And for sure, dude, if you need anything in the future, you got me on Discord. Let me know. I can help you. I've done voiceover work for other people on videos and trailers and stuff, so I can help you out with that, or anything I might need to give you that you need. Let me know. If not, you're also in the Discord of Task Force Shrubbery. There's a whole ton of guys in there that also have resources, YouTubers, techs, all that jazz. Let them know as well. Team Shadow, Crazy Jason, Ackright, those guys are all mods. If you ever need anything and I'm not available, reach out to them, and they'll be able to help you out. But guys, this has been another amazing episode of Talkin' Tactical with my fantastic guest, Woodland Viper Airsoft. And like I always say, guys, never ever forget your battle cry.